Welcome, everyone, to the Dribble G Podcast. I'm your host, Uncle Jeep, and with me is Host Your Media Gaming. Record this podcast live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can listen to this podcast on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can become a member of this podcast to get extra podcast content every single month, like we just did this past Friday. Dribble and I talked all about Nintendo anniversaries and what we could see in the Switch 2 era, as far as like what games are having anniversaries and what those games, how Nintendo would celebrate those anniversaries. So it was a really fun episode. We also talked about something we're going to talk about tonight a little bit, some leaked specs of the Switch 2, including from that episode, the dock had some leaked things going on with it, and as well as some internal specs of the Switch 2 that imply that it's going to be much faster than the original one. Breaking news, Drip. The Switch 2 is going to be much faster, than the Switch. I don't know if anybody could predict that, but
call your local newspaper, let them know.
Yes, and we were called out in the intro, Drip, quickly. This is not the right song. I'm just going to go ahead and play the right song. You're not, unfortunately, Drip will not be able to hear it.
Did you not play the right song?
I played the wrong song. And for the people out there, you're not listening to the correct song. This is the correct song. And for Drip context, this is the Caffeinated Diabetic song, which is the new podcast song for us because you were fired, if you don't remember.
Yeah, but I'm back. I'm not fired anymore, remember?
Is that true?
Contracts.
Is that?
Contracts. I signed the contract. The ink is dry.
Show it to me. Show the people.
You can call my agent.
I want the people to berate Drip's DMs and demanding for this contract that he says I signed, because I didn't sign anything.
No. I will not show my tax. I will not show my taxes. No. I will not show them.
I will share your taxes. On your taxes, it says you're 39 years old because it's your birthday. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
I don't. Can you play this? Oh, you don't have the sound.
I have nothing yet, and my stream deck's actually just not on right now for some reason. I don't know. That's something we'll have to deal with another time. But
happy birthday, Drip.
Yeah, birthday was Monday. Yeah, birthday was Monday. It was a good day. Didn't do anything. Just hung out. It was nice.
Yeah.
Took the day off.
Good.
What?
Sorry. I thought I was just moving on, but because you're not important enough. I just wanted to quickly move off of that topic because no one cares. When your birthday is, you're fired anyway. No, man. Hope you had a good birthday. Last year we had Chess play you some, or was it 2 years ago? I think it was 2 years ago actually. We had Chess play you some music, and last year we had Chess.
That was last year.
No,
wasn't it?
No, because I believe it was 2 years ago. Because then last year we had Chess back on the show during your birthday month, and we reminisced of it, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I think it was last year. I think you're wrong because we had him on this. It was around your birthday.
Maybe I get
reminisced.
Maybe you're right. Either way,
because I told him it was your birthday and had him play you the song.
Right. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what happened. Anyway, happy birthday, Drip. Imagine that we had sound effects again. Drip's still getting his new computer set up there. So
yeah, we'll get it.
Happy birthday, Drip. And speaking of Drip's birthday, it was his 39th birthday, 1 year younger than Mario, and Mario had his 40th anniversary birthday. 40 years, guys. Mario's been hanging around for 40 years. And what did Nintendo do on his very 40th birthday to celebrate such an occasion?
Not technically his birthday.
Okay.
I feel like Mario stole that.
It's like I
gotta be honest.
You ever had a rescue dog? It's like the gotcha day. It's like you don't know when their birthday is, but you pick a day.
It's fine, Mario. You don't know when your birthday is, so just steal mine. It's cool. Whatever. No big deal. I don't care.
Well,
I don't care at all.
What did Nintendo do to celebrate the occasion, Drip?
They put out a Lego that I gotta admit looks a little creepy.
It doesn't look very good, does it?
It's creepy, man. The Mario is just like, ooh, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it. I really like. You know what I would have liked more?
What's that?
I would have liked something maybe just a little bit bigger and no Mario. Just the cart. Just give me the cart. Just give me the cart on a stand. You know what I mean? Just like on display.
Oops.
You know what I mean? Something like that. I think that would have been cooler. The Mario looks weird, man. Look in his eyes, because dude, he
kind of looks like me when I zoom in on the camera. A little bit.
Yeah, it's just not. I don't know. And I gotta
be
honest too.
Bro.
I like the Bowser one that they put out a couple years ago better than this. But it's kind of the same way with that Bowser one too. If you have his eyebrows moved the wrong way, he looks very weird. Very weird. So I don't know. It's cool. I like this. I like the fact that it's on a stand.
Yeah.
I wish it was just the cart. I don't think Mario needs to be on there at all. But that's just me.
Yeah, I kind of wish that it was just like a rolly around type thing. Like you build it and it just rolls around. It looks to me, it still could be that, but it looks to me that stand is there for a reason, and that stand is just it's purely for display things, so that those wheels are not going to move. But I could be wrong about that.
I'm gonna guess, knowing Lego, that you're wrong about that.
I hope I'm wrong.
Probably, my guess is it probably has a hole in the bottom where it just sits on the stand that you build, and you can totally take it off.
Well, these two angles in these two pictures do show it without its stand, but it doesn't there's no implication that it's rolling.
Yeah, but look, the wheels turn though. Look, there's one picture with the wheels turn.
There's a difference between the wheels turning and a difference between it actually functioning like a little RC car type situation.
It rolls.
Well, yeah, it rolls, but do the wheels turn? Is there axles and axes on those wheels, so it actually so the kid could and not just turn it as well.
I guarantee it. I guarantee that you can move it. I guarantee the wheels move.
I hope so. We can talk about this too quickly. The price of it is $170. I think
that's actually not that bad.
I was gonna say I'm not a Lego guy, and you are, but 2,000 pieces here. That seems like a solid deal. Abby and I were just at the Lego store,
right? But I mean, just the size of it. Even if it's usually off the price or the piece count. But
I mean, let's go back to the image here. You can see the guy in the picture. He's obviously a grown man, and that looks to be like the size of his torso. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. The size of it is big, and think about the size of the Bowser one.
Yeah,
and that one is much more expensive. It's two something. I don't know, but
this looks
that's for what it is. Great price. I'm not gonna get it because I don't want that Mario coming into my room at night while I'm sleeping and staring at me. Because
this guy right here.
I feel like, I don't know. There's just something about that little Mario, man.
It's me. Drive me.
Yeah. Take it all apart, brick by brick, put it back in the box, and then take it outside and burn it.
Yeah, for sure. So that's a thing. Do you think that they're going to give us more Mario Celebration after the Switch 2 comes out? Because to me that seems obvious, because obviously right now there's nothing going on for regular Switch, and for Switch 2 we're not allowed to do anything for it because it's not announced yet. They have to actually, I'm sorry, it's announced. It's not they've not shared any information outside of the fact that it exists. We're waiting for April 2nd to happen so they can tell us more about it, dates of games, more games, things of that nature. So do you think we're going to get more specifically celebration? Like, I'm talking about not just releasing a Mario game or whatever after April 2nd. I'm talking, are they going to shout out Mario's birthday and do like a proper celebration outside of what they already did with the Lego?
Yes, absolutely. 100%. Okay. It's the 40th anniversary. Yes.
Yeah, I know it's the 40th anniversary. That's why it was surprising me that there was really nothing besides the Lego set.
But they can't yet. That's the thing. That's why all the little games and stuff that they put into like Switch Online and stuff, they did that a little early. And then they did the sale, which they do every year. And they dropped the Lego. And then they did a couple other little things here and there. But like this year's different because they can't just be like, here's this, here's that. No, they can't. They have to wait. Because they cannot talk about the games that are going to be on Switch 2 until they show the Switch 2. So I have a feeling, and I actually talked about this in the video that I recorded today, and we kind of talked about it on the members pod too. I feel like they're going to do like the whole 35th anniversary thing, how they did a direct. I mean, it's probably going to be later this year. I mean, we may get some, like a trailer, maybe something like that, just for the new Mario that's going to come out. But I think maybe they'll do like a whole. Their September Direct that year was 2020.
Yeah.
Their September Direct that year was the Mario Direct.
Okay,
that's when they dropped it.
That's a little bit. That's a little bit before me. Like I was doing stuff then, but I was not like really in tune.
Yeah. So it was 2020. They had the Mario Direct. They talked about Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, Mario Kart. What was the thing? The
expansion?
No. The car.
Oh, Tour. Mario Kart Tour. No, not Tour. No. I know what you're talking about. What is it called? The home circuit.
Yeah, Mario Kart Home Circuit. That was announced then. We got the Game & Watch. There was a lot of stuff, but I mean, it was a whole direct about Mario. It was the 35th anniversary direct. I mean, they had a big logo, everything. I have no doubts that we will get one of those this year. I don't think it's going to be. It may be in September, but I feel like just the circumstances of things that year were a little bit different, and they kind of had to like push it back a little bit to see what the hell was going on. Um, I think we may hear something more about that. Not maybe some of it at this direct, just when we're going to see the Switch 2, but I think they're going to save that for its own thing later on down the line. And yeah, I think they're going to celebrate the 40th. They celebrated the 30th. They celebrated the 35th. Why would they not celebrate the 40th?
Well, technically, they've already celebrated it, right? I mean, like, just because they only gave us a Lego set and a couple things leading up,
because they didn't say anything about the 40th anniversary whatsoever. They have not said a word about it.
They said, think about this. Happy birthday, Mario. They put tweets out.
Okay, but they didn't say 40th anniversary, anything like that. I mean, they do this every year. They say,
I wasn't
Mario, this, that, whatever.
I admit I haven't I didn't actually look at their specific tweets as they were happening. I just looked at like the bulk of what they sent out. So I didn't notice that there wasn't specifically that language of 40th anniversary was missing.
They're saving that for, I guarantee they're saving that for after they can talk about whatever this new Switch Mario is, because we're due. Obviously, we're way past due for a 3D Mario.
Actually, that's telling, Drip. If it's not, we haven't gotten that, because they do that with everyone. There's like a little mini logo that goes along with it as well. Like
and they, like I said, they did the 35th thing. That was in September of 2020, so it was way later.
Yeah.
I think this time it's going to be earlier, but they're probably just, again, they're waiting. They can't show Switch 2 games.
Yeah, so. I just wonder why they didn't say, hey, we will be celebrating it later. But I guess Mario Day doesn't have to correlate with the anniversary of when they're celebrating it. So I just thought it was interesting because it makes sense to celebrate it on their birthday of Mario, the Mario Day. But at the same time, we all know that wasn't really feasible this year because the Switch 2's information date is after that. So TBD. And I didn't think about that, Drip. That's a good point. I'm glad you brought it up because I would have kept thinking what I was thinking.
I mean, they will.
Yeah, they will. They definitely, if they have not called out the 40th anniversary with the language of showing it.
Think about this. They even acknowledged Zelda's 35th anniversary when they talked about the Game & Watch, but they said we don't have any games in development for it. There's nothing like that. But for the 35th anniversary, we have the Game & Watch, and that was it.
Right.
They still acknowledged it. You know what I mean? So they will. It's Mario. This isn't, we're not talking about Metroid or, whatever. This is Mario. They're going to. They will.
They
do it every 5 years. It's like clockwork. This is the only one I think that is a guarantee to be celebrated.
Yeah. All right, then let's get to the meat and potatoes, as they say where I'm from, of this episode, which is the leaks of specifications for the Switch 2, and technically not specification leaks, but some hardware leaks of the dock, which we did talk about in our members show. If you guys are not members of the podcast, please make sure to do that over on our YouTube. The link is in your podcast description. It was a good one, and we talked about different images of the dock, which I don't think we'll get. I think we'll save that one for a little bit later.
The dock, yeah.
The dock. But let's start with Wi-Fi, because I said in the, guys, I didn't clickbait you. I said the Switch 2 is going to be a lot faster. And first of all, of course, breaking news, it's going to be faster.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, more powerful, the system itself will be faster at doing things.
Right.
But this is a big portion of that is huge, especially a place where the Switch 1 struggled mightily.
Yeah. So we have, I can't say confirmation because, of course, this is just rumor. Leak, if you will. I'm not sure who leaked it. I'm not going that far into it. But of course, take this with a grain of salt. This is not from Nintendo. But we have Wi-Fi 6 coming to the Switch 2. And if you're not up to date on the Wi-Fi situation, which I know I wasn't, the Switch 1 had Wi-Fi 5. The Switch 2 is rumored to have Wi-Fi 6, but apparently we're already a generation and a half past that. We're currently on Wi-Fi 7, and there was Wi-Fi 6E before Wi-Fi 7. So it tracks with what Nintendo usually does with their hardware, which is to take slightly older technology that has become more affordable and use it in their new system. And this tracks with that. This is slightly older technology. It's Wi-Fi 6, but it's better than last gen. And honestly, I think it's going to be perfectly suitable for what we need. But what do you think, Drew?
Yeah, yes, it is. And that's okay. Well, I'll tell you this just so you're aware. I'm about 95% certain that the the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X also have Wi-Fi 6, not 7. I don't know if they have Wi-Fi 6E, but I mean, even Wi-Fi 6E is just a kind of more of an upgraded version of Wi-Fi 6 is. I don't think it's like a gigantic leap like Wi-Fi 7 to 6 is, because that's where the leap is. Because Wi-Fi.
Oh, look at Jeff in the
Wi-Fi
chat.
6
coming in clutch here, Drip. The Xbox Series X, their Xbox's flagship device, has Wi-Fi 5.
Thank you.
Which I can tell you right now, this will lead to a little bit more of a conversation as well. I can tell you right now that my brother's a Series S. So assuming that the Series S has at least the same card as the Series X, which I imagine it would, it's super fast because I've seen my brother's Series S. The Wi-Fi thing is lightning and Ethernet as well. So I'm going to guess, Strip, that it was the issue with the original Switch and why this card tech, why Wi-Fi 6 doesn't really matter all that much. I think what matters is the quality of the card and that's what we don't know yet. We don't know what Wi-Fi card they're using in the Switch 2. And that should tell you right there, guys. As Jeff just said, the Xbox Series X, the flagship Xbox, has Wi-Fi 5, the same as the Switch, the tech. But the actual card itself must be a way better card than the Switch's Wi-Fi card, because that card
it's night and day.
Yeah,
it's night and day. Yeah. It's. I mean, if you've ever tried to download a digital game on your Switch, you know the struggle, especially if you've bought a new Switch and you're trying to download all those games that you had on your old one back down, and you start them and then go to bed and sleep for 7-8 hours and then get up and it's still happening. Yeah. And you're not even halfway. That's when you're like, wow, this is just insane. It's terrible.
More specifically, if you ever played Smash Brothers Online, I'm not sure why, but those of you who've played Smash Brothers Online, it doesn't matter how good of a connection you have. If you play with one person that has a slightly worse connection than you, the game lags like nuts. I don't even know if that's like the Wi-Fi's
fault. I think that's just the infrastructure of the entire online.
But it still could be Wi-Fi going on. We don't know for a fact.
This does give you this. Okay, this does give me hope though. The fact that they are paying attention to things like this, like, okay, we need to put a Wi-Fi 6 chip in this. Maybe this does give some hope to the fact that they are revamping the online and the infrastructure of how it all works, and maybe making that better now that, we all have been paying for it for 7 years now. Maybe we make it better now. Maybe we actually, maybe we do that. That would be great.
That would be.
I mean, this at least points us in that direction of, okay, we know that the internet is a thing. So that's good. Thank you, Nintendo, for confirming that the internet is a thing. I do want to go with this here real quick, because this is kind of interesting. This is something Jeeb and I were talking about before the show started, because we were trying to get a little bit more information on Wi-Fi 5 versus 6. Now, Jeeb, can you tell me again the numbers you had that we found initially? Because I found those numbers initially too, but then I looked a little deeper and got some different ones. What were the ones that you had?
Sure. So here we go. This is, as you can see my screen here, this is from Google itself. I typed in Wi-Fi 5 versus Wi-Fi 6. And of course, Google's now doing the AI thing. It's not actually so. And by the way, if you didn't know, guys, don't trust the AI from Google. You make sure you actually still properly, if you learned in school,
Google's AI is
properly. Make sure to properly use your sources. Use Google as a tool, not as the answer. Okay, Google is a tool, not the answer, and the AI tool is only more proof that it's just a tool, not the answer. But anyway, then this perfectly encaptures what I'm saying, because Google here is saying Wi-Fi 6 offers faster speeds. Well, I don't need to read all that. The key difference is what we need to talk about. It says that Wi-Fi 5 goes up to 3.5 gigabits a second. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
And this is Wi-Fi 6 goes to 9.6. Was that? Oh my God, Google's talking to me. Stop it. Which that does which that does track. The 9.6 does track, but it's
9.6 is what I found.
It's the 3.5 that we're finding some really interesting confliction with here.
Yeah. So everywhere else I found is saying that like top speeds we're looking at 6.9 for Wi-Fi 5.
Mm.
So I mean the 3 point whatever you were saying, the jump to Wi-Fi 6 at the 9.6 is substantial. It's still pretty big. I mean, it's still a 1.3 times jump from 6.9 to 9.6. So that's still like huge. This is what's crazy though. And I do want to, I want to talk about this, but I also want to, before I say this, I also want to say we don't need Wi-Fi 7. This is fine. Wi-Fi 6 is perfectly acceptable. This is totally good. The craziest jump is Wi-Fi 6 or Wi-Fi 6E to Wi-Fi 7. You're talking 9.6 gigabits per second to 46.4.
That'd be like 5 times faster.
It is 4.8 times faster.
Yeah. So you know, which is if we're trusting Google, which we shouldn't, it's about 3 times faster, maybe 2.5. I gotta exactly figure that one out, but we'll just say 3. It's about 3 times faster from Wi-Fi 5 to Wi-Fi 6. But even still, Wi-Fi 7 would be 5 times faster. That is a huge difference. But
but Jeff in the chat saying you would need to be right by your router to see anything like that. This is saying that is like the max speed with optimal everything.
Right.
So
right.
take that with a grain of salt.
Or like professional,
you can do that
like
with
if you're
Wi-Fi 7.
Like in Linus Tech Tips' office, you know, he would have that speed all over his place.
Yeah.
You know, but
And
that's thousands of dollars of infrastructure you must invest in.
Well, and think about that though. Like even Wi-Fi 7 at this point, like you know that crazy router and stuff that I have, that system I have in my house, like that was super, super expensive. What, 3 years ago, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
That's only Wi-Fi 6E.
Right.
And you've seen what that is. It's crazy. It's like, I can go to the mailbox and still have internet. Like it's nuts. And
that's good.
It works. Since I got that, I have never had an issue on any device with internet in my house. Like not at all. So, Wi-Fi 6 to Wi-Fi 7, like next generation, sure. Okay, that's fine. But like right now, like it's okay to be behind on this, I think. I don't think it's a huge deal.
Yeah. And Jeff in the chat's giving us some good context here, kind of confirming what I was saying before. It really matters on the card, but also what he's saying matters on the CPU as well. That makes a big difference. And the Switch 2 CPU is going to be obviously much more capable than the original Switch's CPU. Right. So that factors into speeds. And if you guys think about it, computers like the CPU is the brain. If you're a little slow, if you aren't as smart as the other person, you're going to be processing information much slower.
Yeah.
You might get there in the end, but it's going to be a lot slower. Whereas if you're smarter, aka a faster CPU, you're going to be able to process stuff more quickly. So the Wi-Fi card,
but this is
tech
big.
may not even be maybe it was the CPU that was bottlenecking the Switch original, not even just not even the card itself.
I'd love to know about that. I would love to see like what Wi-Fi card they use in the Switch, and then like see it put on something else and see how it performs. That is actually a very interesting thought. But either way, that's one thing you and I have had many, many conversations about, the bottleneck and the bullshit that we've dealt with.
Yeah. With
the Switch's Wi-Fi capabilities. So that's huge. If this is true, which I don't see why it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
This is great, you know? And again, like I said, this also shows us that Nintendo knows what the internet is. So maybe they're gonna fix theirs. Like that would be great. Maybe I don't want to get crazy. Let's try to stay calm. But like, what if they fix the eShop too? What if the eShop actually runs like decent? I don't want to get crazy. I don't want to get too crazy.
What a concept.
I don't want to get too crazy. Don't get excited. Nobody get excited.
No.
I'm just saying, they know what the internet is. So that's cool.
Yeah. And to wrap up,
good to see.
To wrap up the Wi-Fi talk, I will Coke Baby in the chat. Actually, you guys are hot tonight. Appreciate that. Brings up a good little point again for you guys at home to think about. Those of you not tech savvy who are kind of confused what we're talking about in the last few seconds, which I'll be honest, some of it I was confused about. I'm still not sure what a gigabit is versus a gigabyte. I'm an idiot. So I'm not gonna pretend to be anything smarter than that. But as Coke Baby points out here for us normies, your ISP, aka like your person you're getting your internet from, like Comcast or they're the same thing. Xfinity, Verizon, whoever provides you your internet will be your personal bottleneck with the Switch 2. Meaning, the Switch 2 is going to be capable of whatever speeds your house already can provide you, and it's going to be a matter of how quickly are you able to connect to your own system. Not is the Switch's is the Switch going to be lackluster?
But it's the other way around now, which is great. It's no longer the Switch bottlenecking you. It's now like, how fast can your internet be? That's how fast you can basically go. Instead of being like, oh, well, my internet, I have crazy fast internet here, but it doesn't matter because my Switch can only do this much. Now it's like, okay, I have fast internet and my Switch can handle it, instead of, it's the other way around, which is great. It's wonderful.
Yeah. And I'm not Jeff. I'm gonna politely ignore your explaining of what a bit and a byte and all that, because that's not the time for this. Because now I want to know. Now I'm gonna let the Google like a byte versus a bit, and now I'm gonna do some math. And I'm like, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna move on.
A byte is 8 bits.
Yeah. Now we're getting the math territory. And now I just want to figure it out, but I can't because we have a show to do. But thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you letting me know, because that makes sense. A byte and a bit, they're different. See, I'm already trying to figure it out. Moving on. Oh, one more thing about this. Again, this is quick. This is one of our bigger topics tonight we want to talk about, specifically Wi-Fi, because it's interesting. Good Vibes Gaming, shout out to them. I love their channel. They seem to, in their video of the Switch 2 Wi-Fi card, they made the same mistake that I made, which is to trust Google. Because we wouldn't have had that conversation tonight if it wasn't for Drip looking more into it than I did. I just did a quick Google search. He actually looked into it and found out that there's contradictory information out there. GVG did the same thing I did, which was just say that it was 3.5. What Wi-Fi 5 was capable of. And somebody in their comment section actually put it really well. And this is, again, something we need to just consider and stop for a second before anybody gets angry about Wi-Fi 6 versus Wi-Fi 7 or Wi-Fi 6E. Just this commenter puts it perfectly. The Galaxy Ace 56, which is a budget Samsung phone. It's a new phone from 2025 that costs $450 to $500. And it uses Wi-Fi 6, not 6E or not 7. Your flagship phones where you pay more money. This is not their exact comment. I'm putting it into perspective.
Paraphrasing. Yes.
Paraphrase. I'm actually making it longer because that's what I do.
You do.
So more expensive phones are where you're paying for things like new tech like 6E and Wi-Fi 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even the Galaxy A56, which is still a budget phone, is cost $450 to $500.
Yes,
okay?
a brand new 2025 phone. That's the point here.
It's using
something brand new in 2025 is using Wi-Fi 6, not 6E or 7.
Yeah, and it still costs $500, which is not a cheap device.
I mean, it's got a lot of other stuff in it too.
It needs to hit a price point. And,
right.
The point of what I'm getting at here is we can't expect everything in the Switch 2 to be flagship. Honestly, hardly anything, and it's going to be flagship level if you want to get to that, deep into it.
Yeah, but it's fine. It's
fine. Like, it is fine.
Yeah, as long as they the only way this would have been an issue in any way is if they were still just going to use a Wi-Fi 5 chip. That would be the problem, and that's not happening. So cool. Like, I'm good. Whatever. Like, it's not 7. It's not 6E. Who gives a shit? It's not 5 anymore. So cool.
Sorry, my computer is not happy with the amount of Chrome tabs I have open right now. I'm gonna start closing a couple of these here. Sorry. Get this open again. So yeah. Sorry.
All right. Well, while he's doing that, there are a few other little things. We can start with this one. The little things.
Yeah, Amiibo.
That we did kind of find out about the Switch 2 is it will have NFC, so we are going to be able to scan Amiibos, which cool. I mean, it's good for, I got to be honest, and shout out to Megaboyd, but the only reason I use Amiibos ever, and I didn't even do it that much in Tears of the Kingdom, but I did it in Breath of the Wild for the armor, the special armors, like the throwback armor.
Yeah.
And just to get supplies so you didn't have to worry about stuff. You know what I mean? You could just do Amiibo drops and all the Zelda Amiibo. The reason I say shout out Megaboy, he got me the set of Zelda cards. All the Amiibo, just the cards. So I had a sack of cards.
I didn't know he got you those cards. That's fine.
He did. Yeah, he sent them to me. Well, I had a set and it was terrible because they had random pictures on it and we couldn't tell what Amiibo we were even dropping.
I remember all this. I just didn't remember he got them for you.
Yeah, he sent me an actual proper set of cards with the real picture, and then on the back it even said what you could get, the ones you have.
Yeah.
But I really like that. As far as Amiibos go, that's the only time I've really used them for anything. I mean, I did scan a few of them into Mario Kart to get a Kirby suit and a few, I got a Zelda helmet or something. But other than that, I don't know. The whole Amiibo thing just never really caught on for me like that. I did try a few years ago to start collecting some of them, but I don't know. It's cool that it works. And that's another thing I think that This is the conversation I kind of want to have with this. Let me take you here.
Sure.
I think it's cool that it has NFC support. And I think it's awesome that it's backwards compatible with Switch games. So any amiibos that go with your Switch 1 game, doesn't matter, you can use that on the Switch 2. How many new amiibos do you actually think we're going to be getting? Are we done with that? Is that still a thing? Like, are we? Yeah, like, just tell me what you think about it, because I feel like at this point it's like the Wii U and the 3DS. Like, I mean, it was a thing. Like, it was going, man. But like some of these, I don't know, man. Like they keep putting a few out here and there for new games, like Zelda stuff they do, but like half the time they don't even do anything. Like, they don't do anything. Like the new Zelda ones, what do they do? What do they do?
They give you a weapon,
Like a sword,
or some
but
rupees,
you could get, but that's the thing.
A sword, yeah.
Like the Ganondorf one gives you the same shit that the old Ganondorf ones would give you. It's the same thing, right? I think maybe you might get one like a sailcloth that's different, maybe.
Yeah, they didn't go by specific amiibos. They went by the type of amiibo. So
the
like
character,
villains, characters, like specifically Zelda or Link, or like villain characters, like the Ganon would get you the same thing that a Guardian would get you. But Ganon might get you a couple like extra weapons that a Guardian wouldn't get you. But like you said, it's like any Ganon would get you any of those things, not just the new Ganon that you got.
Now there's the links, but this is also like special ones. Like if you go back to like the 30th anniversary ones they put out, I think those were some of the Wind Waker ones.
Yeah,
might be wrong, but I think that's true. Like, okay, you get more fish because it's a sea, like whatever. Like I think like the links all have like a little bit of a different thing, which is fine. But like
the point is they don't. It's not a big feature, if at all, feature.
Like every single Kirby amiibo, as far as I know, like in any other game besides maybe the Kirby game it was made to use with back when it was happening, like it's not like they do anything different on Mario. You know, if you have a Kirby amiibo, no matter who it is, anybody in the Kirby franchise, it gives you the same suit in Mario Kart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like they have really just kind of fallen off with what they're doing. Like, what do you think? Are we actually going to get new ones? Is this going to be something that they move forward with?
Well, it supports Amiibo, and I think the main reason it supports Amiibo is the fact that it also supports Switch original games, and those games support Amiibo, and people want their Amiibo features.
I agree with that. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I mean, it's the main thing. I don't think the fact that we have Amiibo in the Switch 2 means that it's a revival of Amiibo and how, like, oh, we're going to get a bunch of new Amiibo features now. I think it's mainly to do with the fact that Switch original games use Amiibo, and you want that functionality in your game.
To move forward, yeah. So you're not at least losing old functionality, because that seems to be something they are trying to actually hold on to this time.
And
my question is, do you think we're getting new ones?
That's a great question. My stance is always skewed by my love of Amiibo, not because Amiibo functions are something I can't live without. No, it's that. Can you even see them on the screen if I pull it up? You can't. You can see a few of them. I just love to. You can't. That's not only half of them. I have a lot more Amiibo than that. I love them. They're so fun. The fact that they do something in my game is a little bonus. It's a little bonus. Like, oh, that's kind of fun. I can get an outfit with a Link Amiibo. That's fun. It's not a game-changing thing by any means, but it is a little fun thing that I don't really care about. What I care about is collecting them and having a good time with them on my shelf. Like having a good time with them. What am I doing with my Amiibo?
Yeah, whoa.
I like taking my Amiibo to my bubble baths.
Okay.
I get some nice lavender. I get some nice lavender foam. Gets from Starbucks and throw it in my bubble bath, and I get my Amiibo. My mommy comes in. My mommy throws in all my Amiibo, and I just play in the tub with all my Amiibos.
I'm picturing Jeeb with just very tall mountains of bubbles around him.
Oh my God!
Playing with Amiibo in the bathtub like rubber duckies.
I don't know about you guys, but when I was a kid, I was a bubble bath boy. Like, give me my toys. I remember one of my images in my head when I was a kid is besides being a bubble bath, having the chicken pox, which is not fun. That was a chamomile bath. That was a terrible memory I have of bubble baths, but a good one.
I remember. Oh, I remember having that.
Sorry, I've been tricking everybody out there. But a good
just unlocked terror in my head.
Yeah. A good memory I have is like my Godzilla toys, Mechagodzilla, Mothra, those action figures, and in my action figures.
That's actually super cool.
In my bubble bath, like, dude, hell yeah. Like bubble baths, or why are we talking about bubble baths? What are we?
Yeah, somebody please clip
Amiibo,
that.
yeah.
I was a bubble bath boy as a clip for my soundboard, please. Somebody do that for me.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you.
I make content. It's what I do. Okay.
Okay. So,
but yeah.
man.
So I like to have a good time in my bath as a bubble baby boy.
We're talking
with
about
my
Amiibo. Back to Amiibo.
With my Amiibo. So
you still do that to this day.
Yeah, of course.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah, I play with them. Yeah, splash them around. It's great. And then I dry them off. Dry your Amiibo off, and I put them back on the shelf. So
cool.
But I like to collect them. I like having fun with them on the shelf and the bubble bath, but on the shelf. Okay, so that's. But you back to the question at hand that you asked me.
Do you think there's going to be new ones? Answer the question.
It would be stupid for them not to, because it makes them money.
See,
they're action figures. They're just functional toys to life action figures, and they're good for adult. And they've an adult would never buy toy to life if it didn't serve like a function on their shelves. Like adults,
but that's
don't
the thing.
actually.
Like,
I'm unique.
Do anything anymore.
I'm unique. I take mine in the bubble bath. That's just me. But most adults don't do that. They just put them on their shelf and just look at them.
My point.
And for an adult's I'm going back and forth, serious and not serious, but I hope you understand. The point is that adults look on the shelf.
Straight answer.
I can't do that.
Yes or no?
Can't do that. Sorry, this is WG podcast. Yeah, there's nothing straight about it. Adults, this bit will go on forever until you stop me. So you just
You're done. Okay. You're done. Okay. I want to say this because I know you didn't hop on the Nintendo train until a couple years into the Switch. So I kind of want to take you.
You say it got back on from childhood, you know?
Yes. Yeah. From childhood. But I want to take you back years before that, when the Amiibo craze was actually happening, and like people were going to stores like the day that they knew like Target would get them.
I remember. I was alive. I was alive. I remember that shit.
I know you were alive.
I remember people going crazy.
Huge. They were like, it was a fad, man. It happened. Like it was a thing. It's like Pogs. I just don't see them. I don't see them putting much effort into that anymore. I like the fact that it still has it. And I don't want to spend much more time on this. I think it's very cool that they're at least bringing them back. I don't think it's much of a moneymaker. I don't know if it's worth their time anymore.
Dude, how much does it take to make them? A few cents?
I don't know.
For the injection mold plastic, a few cents? Like, come on, man. They charge $15 a pop, $20 a pop, $30
they
sometimes.
Are getting more expensive. That dude, remember that Skyward Sword one was
the margins, man.
Bullshit.
Your dad's a business. You should know business. Like, you're a businessman yourself. Like, the margins on that plastic is insane. Why would they not keep? I think it's ridiculous that they stopped. They stopped making them.
That's the thing. Here's where I'm at with it. Because it's like Beanie Babies. Okay, everybody wanted those stupid Beanie Babies forever. When I was a kid, I remember it. Even my mom had some in like cases. Like, don't touch it. Don't take the tag off.
Everybody's mom did of our age. Yeah. Everybody's mom had a tub of Beanie Babies and said, "Don't play with these."
Shit about those now.
Yeah,
that same company sells their little, bears with giant eyes and whatever. Every gas station across America now.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what they do. They're the gas station toy that you get. Like, oh, cool, cute bear at the gas station. Like that's what they are now. They were a craze. I feel like you look at, it's not quite that. But my point is this. All these Amiibo that used to be like, oh man, it would drop, and like, oh, you gotta get that new Zelda one. They're like re-releasing these things, and like you can go to Target and see them sit there for months.
Yeah,
like people just don't give a shit.
Well, now you can. But I want to bring your mind back a few years ago to COVID times.
During a pandemic, that doesn't count.
The dark times, but that
doesn't count.
What I want to remind you is during the dark times, people were going out looking for Amiibo because the demand was still there, but the supply was not. Now,
right.
the demand, I will agree with you that the demand was not as high, even during that time, was not as high as the start of Amiibo. when it was really crazy. That I agree with you. But it's still basic business, supply and demand. There was demand during COVID. You can't deny that. There was demand.
There was
a demand for
when they
Amiibo,
started like putting some of the ones back out. Yeah.
And the supply was not there. Now, look at today. I do still feel, I don't know for a fact, but I do still feel that there is a demand for Amiibo. And maybe not, it's not here. It's not when it launched, right? The demand's not, it's not during COVID here.
Yeah, you may be right about that.
It's farther down. The demand is not as high as either of those other times, but there's still a demand. And, it's changed though, since COVID times, supply. They're restocking things all over the world.
Well, another thing I'm thinking about too, and why I have this in my head, and I guess I've kind of been here with Amiibos for a while, because what happened was the initial craze happened with all the Smash characters and this and that and whatever they were doing with that. And they tried to do the same thing for Animal Crossing with that Amiibo festival or whatever on Wii U. And they mass produced those Animal Crossing ones, and those things sat on shelves. Nobody wanted them.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's what actually, like, that's what killed them eventually. I think that's where they really went down. But I don't know. Either way, it's going to, we're going to be able to scan NFC tags with the Switch 2. Maybe they'll come out with some brand new version of their NFC tags, and it won't even be a little statue. Maybe it'll be something new.
Yeah. The NFC is, you can do a lot of things with NFC, not just Amiibo.
Yes.
So who knows what they're going to do next with NFC. The fact that the reader is there means something will be done with it. Probably just Amiibo support from last gen, but it doesn't mean they can't do something different with it in the future.
Yeah. I mean, the next Zelda will probably support all the Zelda Amiibos going
Yes,
forward.
for sure.
But, I just wonder if
I think so. I think so.
TBD. We'll have to see.
Yeah. I mean, that's a whole different can of worms. Like what? But we'll get to that when we get to that. Drip in the notes if you're following along. I want to move down to get to the dock next, and I want to finish up with the proximity chat. So let's get
Don't forget about that USB-C.
I won't. I'm not going to show them a patent because we don't need to, but yeah, we'll start with that. We're going to start with that. One of the leaks that we have seen is that the USB-C port on the top of the dock of the Switch 2 via patents have shown us that it can be utilized to be a dock. So people were speculating that only the bottom USB-C port, like the same port on the Switch original, on the Switch 2, is going to be the only dockable port. The other ones just can be used for charging or whatever. We've confirmed that that's not the case. The top port will have the functionality to use as a dock. So,
are you sure about that? It's dockable with the top?
That's what I understand from the stuff what I read. Why? What do you understand?
Holy crap!
Did you not?
I didn't realize that. Then my question is this.
Okay.
What if you plug a dock into the top and the bottom at the same time? Which one will it dock to?
I don't. It sounds like if a tree falls in the forest, do you hear type of question?
I want to know. What if I plug a dock into the top, but then I plug one into the bottom? Will it switch to that dock? Does it stay on that dock?
I mean,
is there like some type of like pecking order as far as dockability?
That's a fantastic question, and you've got me now doubting what I read, because I thought what I read was credible. But let's just go with the fact that we're not newsbreakers or experts. I just read something on the internet and I thought it was true. So
you might be right.
If it's wrong, don't come after me. I just want to have a conversation tonight. Why I think it's cool is like people who have docks like this. Most USB-C docks look something like not even this. They look like a little rectangle that doesn't have any features on it. It's just a block of a rectangle. On the back of the rectangle just has some ports and a cable coming out. Since like things like the Steam Deck and the Switch, of course, come out, they've come out with more docks like this, which can house your, in this case, a Switch 2 or a Steam Deck, which is made for. I have looked a
little bit into it. We do not know about the dockability from the top. You have taken it one step too far. It is actually only that it charges. It will charge from either the top or the bottom, which meaning the top is not just for an extension of whatever they might do, accessories or whatever. So it will charge, but Chief, the question still stands. If I plug one into both, which one is it charging from?
I don't know.
Is it charging from both? Does it charge faster?
I'm actually going to be incredibly upset if Nintendo doesn't make both of them USB-C port dockable ports.
Yeah,
because docks like
I do
this,
kind of want to go into that.
Docks like this are like plentiful and affordable. And I'm not trying to buy another Switch 2 dock if I have other USB-C's dock laying around. And I don't want to turn my Switch upside down like I have been to use this dock. Like that's what I turn my Switch upside down in this dock to use it. So I don't want to do that. I want a top-loading dock port.
See, now we've got different things coming in the chat here too. We're getting that it does dock on both sides.
That's what I read. I mean, but you can't trust everything you read. But
see, I'm reading from, this is what I found Friday when we initially started talking about this. Now, there may be some more stuff. This is FCC filings. Okay? This is FCC filings saying that it charges the Switch either via its bottom USB-C port or the new top USB-C port. So, we'll look into it a little bit further. Either way, I want to know which one takes it. I don't care. Fine. Docks, charges. If you plug one into both, this is a video I'm going to do. I'm going to just do a video of just weird questions people have about the Nintendo Switch, or maybe just me.
Yeah, dude. Are you kidding me?
I want to know now. Like, what if you have it plugged into the bottom and the top? What if you have it in a dock? I don't know, man. Is there some type of, there has to be some type of, internal software that's writing to tell it, no, don't worry about it. If it's if you got this, you got that.
I don't think it's software.
You know what I mean?
I don't think it's software. I think what it is on the board itself, like the traces and whatnot, all what leads to where. It's going to only allow so much. So it's only going to allow, if you have one plugged in, my guess is, unless there's one that trumps the other, either way, you plug in from the second port, it's gonna have a fail-safe system. Because kids are going to do that. Kids are going to try to charge it from both sides of the Switch and try to break, and it's going to break some consoles if Nintendo doesn't handle that. Not from a software,
that's what I'm wondering.
Not from a software level, but from
that's what I mean. Is this going to end up being
level.
A situation where it's don't plug your Switch into this third-party dock because it bricks it? Remember that? Does this turn into one of those situations? Now, okay, here's the test.
The answer is no to that.
You take a dock like you have.
A dock will not break the Switch 2.
Well, no, I'm not talking about that.
Misuse will break it, but not.
I'm saying is they're going to have to figure out some way to make this not happen. But here's what I want to do: if it does dock from both, because we don't know at this point. Now we're seeing both things here. So if it does dock from both, I want to have a dock connected to one TV and a dock connected to another. I want to put it in the dock to charge from the bottom on one, see it come on that TV. But I want to see what happens if I plug the top into the other dock. Will it turn on that TV too? Or if I take it out, will it switch? Or will it switch when I plug it in? What happens?
There is people who get paid really good money to figure this stuff out before the system ever sees the light of day.
Well, I'm going to make a whole video on what happens.
There's already an answer to that question. The answer to that question is, from a hardware level, things will get disconnected if you try plugging.
Yeah, I'm sure it probably completely is okay, you're plugged in here. This one now does not work. We just completely shut it off. But don't you worry. I will be experimenting with that. Don't you?
Yeah, if I had to guess, you plop your Switch into its regular dock, boop, and it's going to work like a regular dock. If you try plugging in from the top, it's going to disconnect the dock you already had it plugged into and switch it to that dock, and that other dock is going to be disconnected.
Dude's a Monster has a prediction in the chat that if you plug them both in, you actually might be able to hear colors.
I think it's
possible. Just saying.
Anything is possible. This is Nintendo we're talking about. This is this is Disney of video games. Okay.
I mean, that's the new way to switch. You can now hear colors.
You can hear
plug
colors.
Them both in. You can hear colors.
You switch your mind. Nintendo, switch your mind.
Yes.
That's the tagline.
Welcome to the new reality.
We spent way too much time on that particular topic. Let's move on to what I really wanted to get to, which is the dock leaks, some CAD renders. Now, if you're a member, you've already heard this conversation. We're going to make an abbreviated conversation, what we did for members only.
Yeah.
So, Nintendo, excuse me, not Nintendo, a leaker, I don't know who leaked it. This says the image source is from Fami Boards, so take that for what that is. But the people who released these CAD renders, which you're about to see on screen right now if you're watching the show, are the same people who leaked the original CAD renders of the Switch 2 back last year in like September or something like that, August.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and these are the images you're seeing here. We're not going to take it too far. We took it way far on the memory spot. If you want to check that out, you can. But two things, Rip and I want to bring to your attention from these CAD renders. Oh, did I finish my thought? I think I did. These are the same CAD renders from people who leaked it.
Yes,
back September.
Yes, you did.
Okay, sorry. So two things we want you to think about here as far as the Switch 2 dock. Yeah, it looks pretty much the damn same. There's really not too much different about it, but there's something very obvious about this one that is very different from the first one. You guys see, if you're watching the show, of course, you guys see it. You make sure to check out the video pod. There are slits or slots, whatever you want to call them here, openings to be precise. Grills all over the back of the Switch 2 dock.
And I want to add to that, not only on the top or the bottom, but both the top and
correct
the bottom.
Like it's
which
channeling.
means we are looking at an
channeling.
intake and output. Yeah, we're looking at a way to come in and a way to go out, an import and an export, if you will.
Yeah. So that leads to dripping my theory that we worked out in the member spot the other night is there could be a fan in there. There could not be a fan. But the point is that there is openings. I mean, that's pretty much undeniable. It is hard to tell from these just CAD renders. They're not colored.
Yeah, I mean, you can
They're
see
shadowed,
them,
but not
you can
colored.
See that unless they just put all that intricate, stupid-looking detail on the back and they're not actually open and it's full, just flat, that's just pretty stupid.
What if this is a Nintendo toaster? That's like Full Metal just said in the chat. This is probably just a Nintendo toaster. So, like, hey, we got Alarmo, okay?
I'm going to tell you right now, that's not crazy, because I can tell you this right now. Xbox makes a toaster and it looks like the Xbox Series S. And
they make a
puts
mini
a little Xbox logo on your toast.
They make a mini fridge. They make a mini fridge. So
I mean, Nintendo has an alarm clock. They're moving into the kitchen. Let's do it. Whatever.
Nintendo saw that market and was like, we need to get in there.
Yeah, like
it's a market we need to be. Nintendo Alarmo, Nintendo Toaster. Toasty.
It's a Toasto.
Toasty.
Alarmo and Toasto.
No, Alarmo and Toasty. It's like a family.
Toasty's better.
It's
You're
a
right.
family.
Okay, that's fine. Either way. Now, the big thing I was like, I don't know. Is there a fan? This, that. We talked a bunch about this. You know, if you want to see the full conversation, it's a members thing. But there could be a fan in the back there. We kind of came to the conclusion that there could be a very thin fan that kind of pulls air up and pushes it out the top. But another thing that is possible here when you look at that is it might, like, the fan inside the Switch might be doing more work when it's docked, and these might be just tunnels for the air to be moved out through the dock, which still is very interesting either way. But if you look at it, we kind of also came to the conclusion that the bottom part and that other side where that little piece is, there are some holes that line up, and we talked about that stuff. But I think that little piece that sticks out, that little lip that's just sitting there by itself, that is somewhere. I don't really know how to explain it. There's a piece missing that we don't see in this. This is the cover. That's where the cover snaps into. And the reason it snaps in on the top and not the bottom, as we've seen previously, if you look along the bottom of that cutout, there are also grill places there. So clearly they are doing, some type of air movement coming out of the Switch there. That's for sure, because that has nothing to do with where the internals are in the dock. Whether there's a fan in that little compartment over there or not, these ones still have to be there. Those are clearly going to the Switch itself. And the reason this back plate has to clip onto the top and not the bottom is because the bottom, I'm imagining, is probably going to be wide open. This thing's going to clip onto the top and just kind of rest against the sides, and the entire bottom will be open. Because as we've seen with the OLED and the original Switch, they do like to give the option to run your cables out the side or out the back. But this is going to eliminate having to have a channel. It's just the entire bottom is cut out, and you have all the way to the side. So you can run them out the side, run them out the middle, run them out the side of the back. It doesn't matter. It's going to keep it wide open and keep the airflow there. I still, my biggest thing about this, and I want to go into this a little bit more. My biggest thing about these openings on this is the fact that they're on the bottom and the top.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense if you're not pulling air in this thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're only taking air out, you don't need two places in the same area for it to go out. You know what I mean? the one would do, especially if you're trying to just push it out that one area. Like, why let heat come in and build up on other components in the dock? That makes no sense. You know what I mean? Like, why even let it go up there? Just let it go up underneath of it and keep it away from it.
Yeah, so I think what you're getting at is we really only need grills in the bottom because the intake fan on the switch is going to be what's doing the work. If there's a fan in the dock or not, it's still the intake on the switch fan inside of the actual unit itself is going to be what's necessary, not the dock of the fan.
Yeah, because I guess you're right. Because it's actually pulling air in from the bottom and putting it out the top.
Right. So it's only going to need air slots coming from the bottom of the dock because
so again,
then
what's the point of having them on the dock?
The dock slots theoretically go through into the switch unit, which then pushes the air through the switch unit and then out the top of the switch unit. No need for a top slot on the dock unless a piece of the dock itself needs cooling on it inside its own self.
Right. And the whole point of that is, Jeff in the chat saying, it's not uncommon for docks to need fans, which I am totally agreeing with.
If you're like
my
docking a MacBook or something,
my question is now, why does this switch? What is this switch dock doing that it needs that? What is it doing that's so intense?
Well, I can answer that, Drip. You had a Steam Deck for a little while. You may remember how hot it gets, especially the backplate. It gets hot.
The
Steam Deck what is this, Jeff? If you know, what wattage does the Steam Deck pull? Because I know that like some of the newer handhelds, they pull like 2-3 times more than the Steam Deck, I think. Like a Legion Go or Ally, whatever, all those nonsensical names for all those devices, they're pulling like 40 watts or something like that.
45 watts.
Yeah, okay, so
Jeff's saying 45 watts.
So that's more than the TDP is different than watts, I get. I'm not, this is all stuff, man. It's so nerdy, no offense, Jeff. I wish I knew more. I just don't. Anyway, the point of what I'm trying to get out here is that the Steam Deck gets hot. And you can actually buy a new backplate for your Steam Deck, like a third-party one. There's a hole in the back of it, just at the right spot, just to let some excess heat out, because plastic is not a good conductor of heat.
It does get hot. I mean,
plastic is not a good conductor of heat, so unless you're buying like a metal backplate for your Steam Deck that it just like lets the heat pass through the metal more,
just transfer it
that way. Yeah. And I don't think those exist. You get that one that has the hole in it, and it just lets a lot of that heat out through the holes rather than just build up in the plastic and make the whole thing hot. So all that to be said is that the Switch 2 is going to be raw power as powerful as the Steam Deck. So it should be getting kind of hot unless they're able to really kind of manage that in a different way. I don't know. Bigger fans, more fans, better fan placement. I don't know.
It's also Nintendo. So like whatever power we think we're getting, it's going to be throttled somewhere. And it's all about battery power and keeping it.
And handheld for sure. Handheld for sure is going to be throttled. You're not getting the same performance handheld that you are docked.
Yeah, God, who knows? Maybe you put this thing in a dock and this is just
yeah, but that's like I was about to say is that like, of course handheld is not going to be as powerful. They're going to throttle it for sure. But on the dock, we may be starting to slowly understand why the dock needs fans, or at least slits to allow more air to pass through, so the Switch 2 can do more cooling.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing is very, very interesting. Just it's very interesting. I cannot wait till the second, so they just show us what this thing does and just tell us.
And they're not going to tell us they're not going to tell us all.
They're not going to say, "Oh, we have slots in the back because it has a fan inside." It doesn't matter. They're going to say, "Oh, you plug it in and it does this when it's docked," and we're going to say, "That's why it's got fans." Okay, well, that makes sense.
I hope so. But I'm not holding my breath on it. I feel like
it's fine. 3 days later, I'll have one in my hands. I'm going to rip that son of a bitch open and see what's inside of it.
And you'll be arrested.
And I'll be like, "Hey, look over there."
Yeah, because you'll know what you're looking at inside of a Switch. Of course.
I'll have it all on video. So it doesn't matter.
That's true.
I'll bring it back. We'll break down the footage after I get out of jail.
The Nintendo Ninjas will confiscate not only your freedom, but your devices and delete that shit.
Possibly 1, 2, 3, or 4 of my limbs as well.
Yeah, for sure. That's the dock. That's interesting. More info on that in our members pod. Make sure to join that. It's $3 a month to get extra podcasts every single month. It's super cool.
Yeah, I was thinking, what we should do?
The channel.
We should just lower that.
More? We lowered it the first year we brought it out. We lowered it last year. We can lower it again.
99 cents.
Oh, are we making an unofficial? We haven't done it yet. Of course, we're live, but I'll do it, man.
I meant to talk to you about this like last week.
Do it.
I think we should just lower it to 99 cents and just like.
Are we making an announcement right now, Drip? Are we making an announcement? Are we doing it?
Yes.
I'll do it right.
Yes,
Done.
we are.
Done.
Okay, we are.
Announcing
99 cents.
that we are going to create a 99-cent tier for members only that gets you all of the goodies from the members podcast live streams. And it gets you access to those extra live streams, which is we have done 17 of those episodes plus a couple extras. So lots of content to go check out if you haven't checked it out already. So yeah, become a member. 99 cents. It's official in a few hours. When I'm
glad you like the idea.
Love
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, I love it.
I think it's a good idea.
Easy. It's an easy choice.
Yeah,
I don't even think
get
about
people
it.
in there. Let's have some fun with it.
That's what we want.
Anyway, let's move on to Nintendo's working on their chat. It seems like for some reason.
What do you mean?
We don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about, Drew. Tell me more.
We don't quite know. And there's a patent that's been filed.
Oh, they love their patents.
And I do kind of want to preface this with some other things that we've been seeing. It looks like they're going to put more of an emphasis on actual voice chat. Maybe we're getting rid of the app.
Maybe
we're going straight to system because
or
the strongest rumors about the C button have been that they are to deal with your chat menus. And it looks like Nintendo has filed a patent for it, some type of proximity chat.
What?
Yeah.
Huh?
Which is weird because it's like, okay, yeah, people use that in games, which is like a thing like that Nintendo is like, what are they doing with this? Now, my mind goes to this. My mind goes straight to like a walk around Miiverse, Street Pass type of hybrid something, something around that area.
Yeah.
Or and it's like maybe if you're like friends and you're like online, there's like a big sorry, I hit my button. But either way, I'm not gonna go into exactly what it says, but either way, the patent's basically talking about how if you're far away from somebody, like you can kind of hear them, but as you get closer, their volume comes up and you can hear them. And if you're right beside them, you can hear them. And it is literally like spatial, like where you are at to them is like where, like that's what you hear. So I don't know if they're going to use this in game or if it's going to be some type of like, just because they're doing it like this. And my idea is like, I go straight to like a Miiverse type of situation, something like that. Some type of like, I don't want to call it a chat room because that sounds shady. Nintendo would not do that. But it's like, you know what I mean? It's like that type of things where if you're friends with somebody, like somebody on your friends list and you're like online, like maybe you can see them in their little Miiverse. And you could like actually like take your controller and walk your little Mii over and say, hey. And as you get closer, they're like, oh, hey, what's up? Like an actual conversation. You know what I mean?
This relates to what we're talking about.
Real time chat instead of like, hop in this room and we'll talk. It just, you literally walk up to them and talk. I'm
going to deviate for a little bit from what we're talking about, but it does relate and I'll bring it back. So,
okay.
You said shady. It would be shady for them just to like have that open
back
in
room,
the
like
Miiverse.
Weird 1998 chat rooms, like AIM.
No. It's totally valid. Like you don't want like, hey, Drip, theoretically, by default, you don't want your video games to just have voice chat enabled without you knowing. So when you play your game for the first time and suddenly you're hearing other people talk and they can hear you, you don't want that to be the case. Nintendo wouldn't do that in a virtual Miiverse. They wouldn't just have default microphones on and be able to have this proximity chat so people could just walk up to you and talk to you if they don't want their.
I'm saying, I would think not, but the way you're telling this story and leading me into it, I'm gonna go ahead and guess that this has happened to you.
I can't recall which games. I think Marvel Rivals might be one. Fortnite is another, and there's other games. I can't recall.
Yeah, Fortnite. If you go into random shit in Fortnite, it happens to me all the time. I'm like, oh my god.
So
shut the fuck
when
up.
I bought my PS5 is when I really noticed this because it was a new system to me, learning all the settings and whatnot, and obviously the games were new to me and the same idea, learning the settings in the games. By default, in a lot of the PS5 games that I played, without touching anything, just the default settings, I play a multiplayer game. My controller, which by the way, if you didn't know, the PS5 controller has a microphone in it and a speaker.
Yeah.
My controller was on, the mic was on by default in the game. The game was taking my voice in without me knowing, and people were talking to me in my controller without my consent. I didn't tell Sony that I wanted people to hear my voice and talk to me. I know. I did.
But did you?
I did in our conditional settings that everybody accepts automatically, because why would you read?
You did.
And if you deny, you can't play the games. Of course you accept it.
Yeah, you did.
But it's a problem we have in modern gaming right now. Is I am shocked. Like it blows my mind in a day and age where we're so aware of the crazy people out there, that we're just giving them access to our video games are kind of for kids. Yeah. They're for adults, but that's only because as kids we've grown up to still like them. So but it's mainly for kids. So you play a game like Fortnite, which is definitely marketed toward children, and you by default have the microphone on and the speaker, so you can immediately by accident have your children, or you, which if it's you or it doesn't matter. It matters more for the kids though, in my opinion. You don't want your kids to be immediately talking to a random person by default.
Yeah, well, and it's not even really that. It's the fact of what people are saying. Like, it's...
Of course, it's what people are saying. It's what people could say. People are idiots. People are creepy. You know?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, it's not like I have my microphone off, but I'll even, like, jump into, like, some random thing I see in Fortnite. It's like some pirate island or something. I was like, oh, that looks sick. I'm going to try it out. So I go in there, and like, as soon as you get close, everybody's like... Like, oh God, Jesus. Like, okay.
Your microphone did some weird stuff to your voice when you did that.
Okay, sorry. Anyway,
the
point is, this happens like all the time when I go into anything like that. It's like, yeah, that should not be just turned on by default.
Absolutely not. So I would hope that somebody fixes this, and hopefully it'd be Nintendo, especially if they introduce some sort of Miiverse thing on the launcher of the system.
Well, yeah.
That they wouldn't just have it on by default. You have to go in and turn on your microphone manually.
Well, God.
Or at least click a button to allow it first, you know?
Yeah. I mean, well, think about how scared they were of voice chat and anything like friends. You have to have friend codes. Like, you can't even know. Like, you have to type in a 15-digit friend code?
They keep that so locked in. What's the saying?
That's what I'm saying. Well, they're so scared of people talking to each other. And like, they don't even let you do it on their system. They're like, no, you can do it on an app on your phone. Like, yeah. For them to go from that to something like that, that's what is the craziest part of all this to me. Is like the big 180 and all this stuff is really like, honestly, I mean, all this stuff is really, really good news. All of it. Mm-hmm. The fact that we're getting faster Wi-Fi. That means they're paying attention to internet stuff. Again, this whole chat thing, they're paying attention to internet stuff. They've heard the people saying, you know what? Maybe we don't like your cell phone app all that much. Actually, maybe we fucking hate it. We really don't want to use this.
It's not the app that sucks. It's the fact that you have to use the app at all. Where on PlayStation, my controller is what does it. Not even the system, it's the controller.
Well, I mean, and it looks like, and like I said, I've said in a couple videos, it looks like there is a microphone in the system itself. It looks like the Switch tablet itself has a microphone. Take it easy, bubble bath.
Oh man! Okay. When I'm playing my PS5 in the bubble bath with my Amiibo sitting around me, floating around, I don't want random men
Godzilla
to talk to
toys.
Me. Yeah, I don't want random men to talk to me while I'm bubble bathing. Okay, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so the Switch looks like the Switch 2 looks like it's gonna have a microphone built in. So this might be something. I mean, this really is something that finally we're seeing Nintendo. And all this is good. Like, we've covered basically everything we're going to cover tonight. I think the entire...
Well, let me say that before. Let me say this about proximity chat.
Yeah.
Proximity chat is awesome. I first played a game of proximity chat like a decade ago on PC.
Yeah, it's not a new thing.
No, it's a fun experience. When you're playing games that utilize it correctly, especially, it's super, super fun. There's this game, I've mentioned it before on the show. It's by the Gary's Mod community. I mentioned that game, but there's a game called Prop Hunt in particular, or Murder actually. More specifically, there's one version of it called Murder, and it's basically
on YouTube.
It's the name of the game. I don't know. I'm sorry, but basically, it's a version of a game that I don't know what it's called. But basically, the premise is there's one person with a knife but nobody knows that or gun, and and nobody knows who that is. And everyone else is just a civilian trying to figure out who has the knife or the gun. It's Among Us stuff, very much Among Us, but way before.
Yeah.
And people play Among Us with proximity chat. But anyway, let's use Among Us as an example because that makes more sense. More people know it. Among Us with proximity chat. How fun would that be? You're running around doing your tasks in Among Us, and the murderer comes up like, "Hey, what's up, man?" Like your urinal conversation style, like, "What's up, man? Yep, doing my task. What are you doing? Your task? Cool."
Bam!
And then he gets stabbed, and then somebody else comes in the room like, "Hey, what happened here?" Nothing.
No,
But like
the funnest thing you said to me earlier was, imagine this type of chat in something like Mario Kart, where somebody flies by you, hits you with a shell, and they're like, "Fuck you!"
like,
as they're driving, and they're like, "Fuck you!"
yeah. No, that's a great.
Dude, gold, solid gold. That's amazing.
Because I was going to ask you, Trip. I was going to ask you with this proximity chat, what games do you think will utilize it? And I mentioned to you Mario Kart with proximity chat.
Yeah, you said that earlier. And I have been thinking about that since you said that earlier. How hilarious it would be to just come come by somebody like, "Eat shit,"
or like someone from the way in the back throws a blue shell like, "I got you, bitch."
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, no, like Mario Kart with proximity chat would be incredible.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
A Miiverse would be also super cool if you agree to it before you just join with voice.
Right. Well, and it's Nintendo too, so you got to remember that they are gonna make you agree to everything blatantly. Like, this is a voice thing. You're gonna have to do this, that. Do you agree to this? Like, they are gonna make sure, and they're gonna say, also get your parents here because we're gonna make sure they're cool with it too.
Yeah,
that's how Nintendo does it.
You can't protect everything. It's there's nothing you can do to fully protect everybody in the world.
But as long as you put up the right things and be like, "Hey, you need to be aware of what this is."
Painfully obvious is the phrase I'll use. It needs to be painfully obvious to you and your parents that this is something you need parental consent and advisory.
Well, and I think maybe if this button is the chat button, the fact that they're going to be talking about it as a new feature is also going to make it very apparent what it is and that it has that function. And I'm sure they're going to be talking about
parental settings. We might have parental settings on a Switch unit.
Well, they are. There already are.
Well, what are the parental settings on a Switch? Oh, you would know. You have kids. What?
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds. I get into the menu right now. There's a whole parental settings menu. Oh,
never done it because I don't have children. That's a problem.
I don't use this Switch anymore. I use my Lite. Oh,
too bad.
Zelda Switch is just. It's okay. There are parental settings. You can set all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Cool
stuff so they can't get into the eShop and things like Like you can make it so people can't send them friend requests, or you have to approve send requests that they've you can lock it down completely. So Nintendo's already doing all that stuff.
I forgot about this. Power Man brings up a really good one. Splatoon 3 had to make your own art, which it totally did in like the main area when you first log in. People were able just to upload their art that they made. I don't know how, probably on the app or something. On the Wii U is much. I guess on the. Oh god, I broke it. I guess on like the tablet stuff you could like draw on the screen. I don't know how they did it. The Wii U they drew on the tablet.
Splatoon 3 had it in on the Switch.
Right.
The art was just popping up in the I remember.
How did they draw that? Is what I was getting at. But that doesn't matter. I'm tangent.
The tablet.
Yeah. So anyway, the point is that they could draw weird stuff. And
yes.
And that I guess they didn't police that very well, did they? But that's a lot different. I mean, a like low res drawing of a somebody's junk is not as offensive as like saying particular words to certain people who shouldn't be hearing them. That's much, much, much different in my opinion. So. Especially if it's two-way communication, not just a passing what you hear, but like communication two ways. That's much more dangerous than a lewd photo. But whatever. But yeah, they can just add that stuff to the parental settings. I think Nintendo will, in fact, add stuff protections to kids in parental settings.
They will. They're gonna lock this shit down. They do it with everything. That is one
Sony
thing
doesn't
Nintendo
do it,
does have on lock.
Not by default, at least.
Well, that's because Nintendo's for little kids.
Yeah, for babies.
It's for babies.
Big old
PlayStation's
babies.
For men. Anyway, Switch 2 is going to have Wi-Fi 6. That's awesome. Switch 2 is also going to have 2 ports. You're going to be able to run 2 docks at once.
Oh man, 2 docks at one. That's a t-shirt.
2 docks, one Switch.
That's
it's gonna be great.
Oh, that's that. Oh boy. What have you done?
We could probably workshop that one a little bit.
Yeah,
we'll
it sounds a little bit like some other
right.
two something, one something.
I heard something about that. Anyway, my point about all this that I was going to make earlier is Nintendo is listening to the problems that we had with the Switch. They listened. Not only that, hey, we want one of these. We want one more powerful. Looks like they're doing that. They're like, your internet sucks. Your fucking online sucks. Fix it. Looks like they're at least trying to do that. I mean, all this stuff is great. I'm really happy about all this stuff. I really hope, I really hope all this is true because all this sounds great. I can't wait. We got what, 2 weeks? 2 weeks?
Yeah.
You're really close to that screen.
I am really close to the screen now. Yeah.
Yeah. And the eShop sucks. We need to see a new eShop, which I think we will. We're going to see a whole new UI. We're going to see a new eShop. I don't think they're going to just bring the eShop over. And I would hope that they're not going to do that. But we'll see. That's for another episode, Jeeb.
We will see, Drip, and we're going to wrap up this episode. Thank you guys for watching and listening to this one. We really appreciate it. Very good one, as always, Drip. You might be fired next week. We don't know. I have a replacement waiting.
Listen, I signed a contract.
Prove it. Post your contract or it didn't happen.
I will not post my contract. You can talk to my agent and my lawyer.
What are those people's names?
My lawyer? I do have a lawyer. I can tell you my lawyers.
I got lawyers. I got 2 of them. Mario and Luigi. That's their name. They're out of the plumbing business. They're helping me out with lawyery things.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. Listen, my lawyer is a junkyard dog. I've seen her in action.
Whoa.
You don't want to fuck with her. I could. Never mind. I'm not even going. I'm not even going.
You too reserved.
Good lawyer though. She's a good lawyer.
I'll talk to your lawyers in my bubble bath later with my Amiibos and my Godzilla. All right. You guys are great. We're going to end this episode here, and we're going to see you guys next week.
Later.
Nintendo, every single show.